Hawk and I came up with this the other day. We were hanging around, said, let's do something that involves you. You're the executive producer, you used to work with me back in the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. This is the Eye of the Hawk.
JT, thank you for the opportunity. Let's start here in Los Angeles. Anthony Davis yesterday told Sarah Spain of ESPN that he is scared of the dark and he sleeps with the lights on because he has watched too many horror movies. That, to me, is pretty wild and maybe something he should have kept to himself. So let me ask you two questions. Do you think Anthony Davis should have kept his fear of the dark to himself?
Yes, I think that's an embarrassing thing to admit, especially sleeping with the lights on, the same guy that wore the Looney Tunes t-shirt. That's all, folks. Everything that he's done and said in the last 6 months has been bizarre to me. So I'm not a big Anthony Davis fan. I think he'll do some great things with LeBron, but that's another check in cause for concern if I'm a Laker fan.
Do you have any irrational fears yourself that you would like to disclose to the listening public?
No, I'm pretty good. Other than heights, I mean, really high heights, you know, like going out on the edge and taking a selfie at the Grand Canyon and maybe dying or doing something. I'm good with all that. I don't have many fears, but really high heights, I'm not the guy that goes to the edge and looks over.
Yesterday, you told everyone where you got your name, JT the Brick, from. You used to call this show Brick, rhymes with Nick. You're a big Knicks fan. Carmelo Anthony, former New York Knick, who doesn't have a basketball team right now, wants to come back and wants a farewell tour, kind of like Dwayne Wade got last year. His former trainer told the Breakfast Club radio show in New York that Carmelo wants to come back for one more year, do the whole Dwayne Wade thing where he walks around and gets applauded by the crowds, gets his tribute videos at halftime, and then also does the jersey swaps after the games with fellow star players. Do you think Carmelo Anthony deserves a farewell tour?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, Dwayne Wade made the best of it because he was playing at a high level. He was still elevating, playing in big games that counted. He came up with the swap of the jersey, which was fantastic. Carmelo needs to just go away. He should have a tribute at the Garden. I think they should have a tribute maybe in one or two places. But if he doesn't make a roster or if he doesn't come back, I think Carmelo needs to go away quietly. And remember, Carmelo's got a great legacy with USA basketball. I'd like to see him come back for the World Cup and the Olympics. I think that'd be the best way for him to go out.
Carmelo Anthony?
All right, we're going to the NFL now. The Miami Dolphins, they have not had a lot of luck with their offensive line coaches. In fact, I'm going to have Alvin play this audio right here, right now. Alvin, go ahead.
Hey, babe, miss you, thinking about you. How about me going to a meeting and doing this before I go?
All right, I'll jump in. That's Chris Forrester, former offensive line coach, snorting a white powdery substance off of a table that was in his office at Miami Dolphins headquarters. We don't know what that substance was, but we can assume. He sent that video to his, what he thought was his girlfriend at the time in Vegas. She was an adult entertainer. She leaked the video. He was fired. 4 practices in, the Dolphins have now fired their new offensive line coach, Pat Flaherty. This is really weird, the kind of luck that they're having with their offensive line coaches. So what's a worse look, getting fired 4 training camp practices in, or getting fired for doing rails of white powdery substance on your desk?
Cutting big fatties and videotaping yourself on Facebook Live or whatever is still the low moment in Dolphin coaching history. So whenever a coach gets fired, coaches are able to move on in life. But that was a low moment in Dolphin history. I don't think that will ever be overtaken.
Great audio, though.
All right,
Can we get
to the big one? Can we get to the tennis match? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Hawk had a tennis match, which was a Tinder tennis date. I've never heard anything about it. I was in fear of his life last night. I was pinging him and texting him after the tennis match. I'm the only one who knows how this tennis match went. You looked for a stranger on a Tinder tennis app. How did it go? How'd the day go?
You reset that beautifully. Just to fill in a few gaps here, like I told you on Monday, I was desperately looking for people to play tennis with. I found a website that is not Tinder, but is like Tinder, where it sets you up with strangers, but not to date, but to go out and play tennis with. So it's a website that is like Tinder for tennis. I found a man to play tennis with, and I went and met him. And before I left for that match, my wife had begged me not to go. She said, please text me at all times. Let me know where you're at. And I said, are you nervous? And she goes, you would never, ever, ever let me do this. And I thought about it, and I probably would not want her to go play tennis
You
with a
would
stranger.
never let your wife or a woman ever do this. No man would ever let a woman go on a Tinder tennis date. But you pulled it off.
I pulled it off. So I went to, this is what makes it extra sketchy. He said he didn't have an address for the tennis court, so we had to meet at a different location where he had an address for it, and it happened to be a Vaughn's parking lot. So I pulled in, and he called me and said, "Are you here, Adam?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he was standing outside of his Prius, smoking a cigarette on his cell phone, talking to me, and I could see him. And in my mind, I'm like, wow. I'm going to play tennis with a guy who smokes heaters before tennis, which is interesting. And then I pulled up closer and realized that he was quite older, quite out of shape. He was...
How old?
How are you, sir?
In his 60s?
62 years old.
So you found a Tinder tennis app match with a 62-year-old guy smoking heaters before you even started to volley and warm up.
Did you bring
Yes, and here's the thing is, there's no picture, there's no age. You kind of go in blind. You know a name and you know a location. So I was initially like, oh, this isn't going to go very well. What should I do? Then I followed him to the court. He was driving like 65 miles an hour through neighborhoods. Clearly, he wanted to get to the court and play. We got there. He asked me how long it's been since I played. I told him 5 years. He was very put off by that. He thought that this was going to be a horrible match for him. We began to rally. He was doing really well. I wasn't. Then we played a match. I beat his ass 6'3", 6'4". He had to pay for the new cans of tennis balls, which is customary in tennis. And we're meeting up again August 13th, me and my new friend.
Another Tinder tennis date with the same guy. Why wouldn't you try a new? Why wouldn't you swipe right for some new guy, maybe in his 40s or 30s?
I'm playing the field right now. I got a lot of hooks in the pond. I baited a lot of hooks.
Okay.
So I've got this with him on August 13th, and then I have another guy that I met named Ben, who I'm playing in a match as well. So right now I've got two Tinder tennis dates.
So if I don't come up with Eye of the Hawk as I'm filling in for Jim, we never hear about this Tinder day.
Nope, not at all.
No, so all the clones could take it out on you, not on me. Anything else in Eye of the Hawk?
I was watching TV yesterday. I saw the movie Moneyball was on. I watched it and quickly realized,
Great movie.
Man, this is a great movie. Second best movie, sports movie of all time behind basketball. Kind of sucked. They didn't get the happy ending that Fever Pitch got with Jimmy Fallon when they happened to be filming a Red Sox movie and the Red Sox won the World Series. But it got me thinking, what is your favorite sports movie of all time?
I go Hoosiers like everybody else, but we were talking about this. The greatest sports movie of all time is Raging Bull, and that's in my Mount Rushmore of all-time movies. De Niro playing Jake LaMotta, really aggressive, one of the greatest movies still to this day. So I'd go Raging Bull into Hoosiers in that order, but there's a lot of great sports movies. And Moneyball, I thought was fantastic. I thought they did a great job with that book.
Yeah, really cool for Billy Beane to get played by Brad Pitt. If someone was going to play you in a movie where they adapted the Handoff, the great book, if they adapted that into a screenplay, by the way, the Handoff written by JT the Brick, check it out. If they were going to make the Handoff into a movie, who would play you?
I would go Josh Brolin. I think he would do that, right?
That's a great call.
Would that be good?
Yeah,
I
off the
would
top
like
of your
him
head,
to
that is
play
a
that.
great
He's a good
call.
actor. He's been in a lot of movies. And thanks for the book plug for the Handoff about my mentor, Andrew Ashwood, who was really connected with Jim Rome and connected with me. And I was able to write a book about him after he passed away. You could pick that one up, and really proud of it and the connection that we have through radio and the chapter on the Smack Off and how I won the Smack Off detailed early, and a lot of other cool chapters in that book.